after 10 p.m. This morning, WPS reports over 800 customers were without power, primarily in the northern counties. We Energies reports about 90 customers without power. Civic Media meteorologist Brittany Merlot has more on the severe weather that struck the northern parts of our state last night.
For WXCO News, I'm Brittany Merlot. A possible tornado in southern Eau Claire County yesterday evening, with photos of it and reports from an emergency manager of structure damage. Radar and reports show the path of the twister may stretch from Fall Creek east to Augusta. Trees also caught fire when they tumbled onto power lines in Rothschild and Cronenwetter in Marathon County. Winds were reported reaching 50 miles per hour in Wausau and 55 miles per hour in Rhinelander. Quarter-size hail was scattered in some of the storms across the state, and nearly ping-pong ball-size hail hit Sydney, just outside of Marshfield in Clark County. While winds in Withee whipped up to 60 miles per hour, and the National Weather Service will be out surveying the damage over the next few days. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot.
Green Bay Mayor Eric Genrich said skeptics may have thought the NFL's smallest market couldn't host a draft, but they were wrong. Over the 3-day period, 600,000 people visited the draft campus, 100 Green Bay police officers were on site, and 20,000 bus trips were made, transporting people to and from the 3-day event. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
The Packers sign a linebacker. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports NFL. The Packers have signed veteran free agent Isaiah Simmons. He was a first-round draft choice for the Cardinals in 2020. Last year played for the Giants. Green Bay has signed him to a 1-year contract. Baseball, the Brewers on the south side of Chicago tonight as they open a 3-game series against the White Sox. NBA Game 5 tonight, a must-win for the Bucks. At 3-1, Pacers head coach Rick Carlisle on a chance to eliminate the Bucks at home tonight in Indianapolis.
We need our crowd to be the loudest it's been all year. Elimination games are always the most difficult, but that's how it's going to be, and we got to be ready.
Doc Rivers.
This is one that, we got to have all hands on. Like, we just got to figure it out. As a staff, we got to figure out the right rotation for this group. We got to really come up with better spacing offensively and a better defensive plan for the game.
That's the Bucks head coach, Doc Rivers. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, a low in the low 30s. For tomorrow, a mostly sunny day. Highs pretty close to 60. Then some showers move into the area for Thursday. Highs in the upper 50s. Warming up for the end of the week and weekend. It's 60 right now.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
How has the first 100 days of Donald Trump affected you personally? I'm so glad for these calls and texts because this is what matters. We can listen to national news, read national news, but it's what we here in Wisconsin are experiencing in our real lives that mattered to me the most, and I think is the best indication of where our state is at.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app. Mino and the Mayor.
You're just dressed very well today.
Hey, you're wearing
Jeff.
the Mayor of Green Bay sweater vest.
It's a Green Bay
and you're
vest.
very nice. You look like you're going to speak to the Chamber of Commerce and announce your re-election for mayor or something. That's what you look like. I've been there, Jim. I was with you for 20 years.
You were great.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday morning 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS in the Civic Media app. Maggie Dawn.
At 5:30, we've got What's Your Thing, our midweek sound off. I'll tell you what mine is. It's the corruption, damn it. We talk about how Donald Trump is breaking.
Broadcasting live statewide from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now a guy who binge watches TV for a living but doesn't get paid, Pete Schwaba.
That's a great gig. Good work. You can get it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Nightlight Oh, the fun is about to start. You are just in time. We have a great show tonight. It is great to have you here on this Tuesday night, a beautiful night in the state of Wisconsin, wherever you are. We made it through. We made it through the rain, the wind, whatever that was last night. It came and went. So good for us. Conrad, did you get stuck in that last night?
No, I was in my bedroom and, I did have the window open because it got really hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden the rain started coming into my window because of the wind.
Okay.
So my bed got a little wet.
What, didn't you get up and close it?
It felt nice a little bit.
Was your bed already wet for other reasons?
It was warm in my apartment. All right.
Okay. Hey, this, it's so weird because I was listening to the weather all night last night and they said we were going to get this horrible, like maybe tornadoes, apparently one touchdown in Peshtigo about 5 miles from where I live. But at about, I don't even know, it was maybe 11 o'clock, 11:30. I was like, oh, the storm must have passed us. And here, this is one of the weirdest weather things that ever happened to me in my life. I'm sitting watching TV. I'm rewatching The Accountant. And this gust of wind came out of nowhere. I don't know if it came off the water or what, but I thought it was going to lift the roof off my house.
Wow.
And I need a new roof anyway, so I could have had insurance cover it if that had happened. However, it was so scary. It made the weirdest noise. I jumped out of the chair. I woke my wife up. I said, I think we should go down to the basement. And then that was it. And I called my parents. They live about 1,000 feet away from me. They didn't experience it. My sister didn't. It was like a wind gust that just hit my house. It was so weird.
Are you sure this really happened?
Honest to God, I did not dream it. I was not under any kind of chemical influence. I need to get Brittany Merlot on the horn and figure out what that was. Because honest to God, it made the weirdest noise and it scared the bejesus out of me. And that's the first time I've ever used the word bejesus name in vain. It freaked me out. I thought we were under attack. I thought it was going to be tornadoes right outside the house. So anyway, it's behind me. It was traumatic. I got through it. And now we can move on. So great show tonight, folks. I'm really excited because I've got a fellow native Marinette. Well, he's not a resident anymore. He's been doing amazing things out in the world of broadcasting for the last 30 years. Mike Strelo, who is the anchor at CBS 58 in Milwaukee, as I understand it, the noon anchor and the 4 o'clock news anchor. And he's been doing that for a couple decades now plus. So Mike is stepping back, but he will still have lots to do on a weekend show that he will anchor there too. So Mike is going to be here. He's from Marinette. He was born and raised there. I'm a transplant, but I have a serious tie to the place now, and I live there now. So Mike and I will have a nice talk about Marinette. And you might have guessed this, Conrad. I've got a nightlight quiz for Mike. He's going to take our Marinette. It's the first time we've ever given. This might be the first time a quiz has ever been rendered about Marinette, Wisconsin on the radio. Once again, Nightlight makes history. And I think Mike will do well. Yeah, I think he's going to do really. It's not that hard. However, he has not lived there in a long time, so we got to cut him some slack. But it'll be fun. We'll talk to Mike about his career and how he got where he was. He was a former anchorman here in Green Bay when he was starting out, which was exciting. So we'll talk about all of that with Mike at 6:35. Those of you in Milwaukee, feel free to text your nice thoughts to Mike Strelo, who will be here at 6:35. Then there's a new film festival in Stoughton, Wisconsin, called the SOGO Film Festival. And founder Miles Kristen will be here at 7. Is he 7:20 or 7:35? He'll be here in the 7 o'clock hour. I think that's all we need to tell people. Let's keep people guessing. We don't want them tuning out. That's what they call a tease in radio, Conrad.
I'm teased just listening.
You know what? I've noticed a change in your attitude since you took some time off.
What's the change?
I don't know. I'm going to get to the bottom of this, though, but I think you still have draft on the brain. You had, 4 nights off? I had to go down to Madison and stay in the western suburb. I was almost in Iowa.
Wow.
That wasn't that bad. It was a nice hotel. But no, it was fun. I was in Madison doing the show from there. I've grown kind of accustomed to that. It's fun to work with those guys. Got to see Aaron Zommers. I was a guest on Todd Alba's show. Sam helped me out. So we had you covered while you were gone, but tell us, what was it like? The draft here in Green Bay.
It was crazy. a lot of people.
Yeah.
I did see that it got up to 600K in a total attendance, and that's it ties the record for Tennessee when it was down there.
Okay.
And that's 600 as well. But for such a small city, I didn't even think we could fit that many people in that area, but they did it. And
and everybody's kidneys paid the price. Did you get stuck in that drama?
What do you mean?
Somebody posted a picture where there was like lines 30 deep
for
porta potties.
Yep.
That must have been brutal.
So one of my friends who was behind me, he just randomly left, and we didn't see him for like the rest of the night until we found him at the end of the night. When we left as soon as the Packers picked, pretty much. We're like, we cannot stand out here much longer because we were out there for 7 hours.
Was it
just
cold?
standing?
Yeah.
It got pretty cold out there. The wind was brutal.
Okay.
And me, I was wearing a t-shirt. So that was on me though.
Good call.
I wanted to get a sweatshirt that was a little out of the budget.
Was it like one of those t-shirts where you're like, this is my best chance to meet girls? If I wear this, I might be a little cold, but it's worth the risk.
It was a Jordan Love graphic t-shirt. So
okay.
It was worth it.
You were representing. All right. Nice.
But we went all around. We checked out some of the stuff that they had. I met Mark Murphy, which is pretty cool. He was in one of the places that they had set up, which is called Packers Everywhere, where you went in and it was like a dive bar, pretty much, like inside of the tent, and they had pull tabs in there that you want to. I'm sure everyone won a prize, but you open it and then and then you went around the line and showed all like the sayings that Wisconsin has, like, oh, sorry, I didn't see you there.
Oh, funny.
And then at the end, you get to take a picture with who was ever there, and when we were there, it was Mark Murphy. So.
That's hilarious. Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. And
bathroom issues aside, it sounds like a wonderful event.
See, when you're outside by the draft, that was a problem there. But when you got inside in Lambeau, and then like you could get reasonable times.
Okay. That's good. So, and you're happy with the draft pick?
I'm very happy with the draft pick.
Okay.
And it was so loud when Mark Murphy said that for the first time since 2002. We picked a receiver in the first round. The crowd, you could barely hear anything. Nuts. It was
cheering louder than anyone, probably.
I was
Love and Conrad.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I love that phrase when people say "didn't see you there."
Well,
because you know what that means? They saw you.
You know what's funny is I probably heard that about 20 times, at least 20 times
at the draft.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, like trying to walk into the people were trying to walk past us, like, and it's crazy. I don't even know how they could get up there, but they did accidentally step on my foot or something. Like, oh, like, you're from Wisconsin, it's okay.
Yeah, right. So there were 600,000 people just in the designated draft area.
No, so it was total attendance.
Attendance. So outline
on 3 days.
How on earth did they even measure that? That's great. That's a ton of people.
Yeah, and this is funny though, is that they said you need the One Pass app to get in. They said, what, like 12 o'clock is when they opened it. We get to there and they say, you don't need the One Pass. You just go. No, we're not scanning today. I'm like, well, why did we download this app then?
Oh, geez. Did you have to pay?
No. It
was free.
It was totally free until you got in there and then you realized everything was really expensive.
I can't believe this was free. Miller Lite, $12.
Chicken tenders were like 15 or something.
Oh God!
But they were hot honey, so
Oh, so it was worth it.
No.
So it sounds good. You glad you went? You glad you took time off?
Glad I went. Right. That was once in a lifetime experience.
You never know.
They might come back.
Young guy,
I think it did. I think it went smoothly. I heard there was only like one arrest the whole time, so right? I think that's pretty good numbers for 600K.
And after hearing the porta potty situation, I can probably guess what that arrest was for.
He's trying to get up in front.
Hey, let's do this before we run out of time here in this first segment. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the Nightlight question of the night.
Let's talk about the question.
Okay, question.
Pregunta. Question.
Okay,
I have a question. Questions. This question.
Domanda.
Question. Questions.
What is your favorite TV show theme song? That is tonight's Nightlight question of the night. What is your favorite TV show theme song? text us and let us know at 855-752-4842, 855-75-CIVIC, or text us on the app. I know there are a lot of you listening on the app. It's always fun to get texts off the app. And if you're listening on the stream, or watching the stream, I should say, Facebook, Twitter X, or YouTube, shoot us a text on the stream. We always love to read your messages on the radio, and it's always so much more fun when you guys participate. I will go first. I will say, I've thought about this a lot today. I'm going to say Cheers, because I mean, the song is definitely pertains to the show in the lyrics, but it's a good song. It's a good standalone song. There you go.
Making your way in the world.
Yeah, that's great.
It's great.
Is that the original?
Yeah.
Taking a break from all your worries.
Take a verse, Ken.
I don't think I can. I don't know the words that well.
To get away.
This is fantastic.
All those nights when you've got no light.
That's when they cut it right there, and then they went into the next verse.
Yeah.
That's a great song. So I have a tie. It's Cheers or Good Times. When I was a kid, there was a show set in Chicago, even though they didn't film it there, at the Cabrini Green Housing Project, starring Jimmy Walker, called Good Times. Let's hear a little of that.
Not getting hassled, not getting hustled, keeping your head.
Great song. I have a tie. And I will throw in honorable mention the Mary Tyler Moore theme song. Great song, and a great, just a very upbeat song where you kind of get swept up in it a little bit. It's got a happy sound, great lyrics, beautiful. And Mary Tyler Moore, so beautiful, throwing her beanie or her hat up in the air at the end. We'll hear more of that later. I love that. Wow, maybe I have a three-way tie. What about you?
I wanted to actually see if you could guess it.
Okay.
I think
is this a show you like or just a song you like?
No, it's a show that I liked, and then I realized what it like. I'll explain it after. You probably watched it with your son.
Okay.
I never thought that it'd be so simple, but I found a way. I found a way. If you open up your eyes, it's gonna take some time.
What is that?
It's Drake and Josh.
Drake and Josh.
And one of my favorite shows growing up.
Yeah, I used to get them and the Sprouse Brothers show mixed up. The Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Oh, Sweet Life.
That's a good song, though. That's a great song. Yeah. All right. So that's our question of the night, folks. Let us know what your favorite TV theme show song is. We're going to read your text when we come back. We're going to read a text we got from last night. All kinds of stuff going on here at Nightlight, folks. Great to have you with me. It's Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
They got you down on your knees. So alive, we're busy still saying please.
You're listening to the Talk of Green Bay, WGBW, home for the Todd Allball Show.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect.
800-217-9129. 800-217-9129. 800-217-9129.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones. Check 511wi.gov or download the app for road work or closures on your route. Know before you go with 511 Wisconsin. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
Wounded Warrior Project has been there for me since that first day in the hospital. They got me out of the house. They got me connected with other veterans. and they help me face my PTSD. They support me and my family at every turn. And now I'm helping other warriors realize that they're not alone.
Through our hands-on programs, supportive community, and ongoing advocacy, we help post-9/11 veterans realize what's possible. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
David Hogg, Democratic National Committee Vice Chair, says, no, we're going to spend $20 million to take out fellow Democrats who are either too old or not voting progressive enough. And Republicans are doing this as well. They don't want any compromise, zero-sum game. I spent 30 years in politics. The best politics are pragmatic. You get 75% of the loaf and you move on.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app.
Down, down, down. Come on! We get twisted if we go out before night. We come home early bird.
You got Nightlight. I'm Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Tuesday night. Pardon me. Mike Strelo will be here after the news at the bottom of the hour. He is a fellow Marinetter, a Marinette native who has been doing great things in the news world in Milwaukee for the last couple decades plus. Mike is here in studio, and that's exciting. He'll be along shortly, and then Miles Kristen will be here, the founder of a new film festival here in Wisconsin. Will join me in the second hour around 7:30 or so. We got a text overnight, and I don't like to let texts go unread. So even though it came in at an ungodly hour, thanks to our friend Bud from Janesville, I'm going to read it. Our question last night was, who is your favorite First Lady, in honor of National First Ladies Day, which was on Saturday. So Bud writes, hey, Pete, I don't even know if I should read. This is a pretty dark text.
Hey,
but you know what?
Just go for it.
They gave me license to be a little more, and it's not even that it's that edgy. I just don't like to read it because the visuals are so horrifying, but I'm going to do it. Bud from Janesville says, hey, Pete, regarding your question about first ladies, I admire a first lady that will look the other way when I have affairs. Well, who doesn't? And yet scoop up my brain when I end up on the business end of a slug. It's so horrible, Bud. He says this was for comedic effect only and very little at best. Agreed, Bud. But hey, it took guts to say it. What is happening with my voice?
It's that gelato.
I know it's the gelato. It goes down so smooth, though. It doesn't feel like. Bud says, love your show. Bud from Janesville. Thank you, Bud. And thank you for listening during the rebroadcast from, is it 4 to 6? Are we on Conrad?
Yeah, 4 to 6.
So that's perfect. I love to know people are listening even when we're sleeping. Pat says, Pat's got a Marinette trivia question. So we'll save that for when Mike is on, because I think I know the answer. He says, my Marinette trivia question, I'll just read it now, is what neighborhood in Marinette has a block with the most taverns on it in the world? And I don't think that's not going to be a tough one for Mike, but I'll hold off until Mike is here. We'll add that to the quiz. Nick from Marshall, that's the 608. He says Hawaii 5-0 is his favorite theme. That's the reboot. I have not seen the reboot. Is that the one with Shemar Moore?
I actually don't watch that.
Yeah. I have not heard that, but the original Hawaii 5-0 had great theme music as well. Anna from Madison, she's in the 608, says, hi, Pete, welcome back. Conrad, my favorite.
Thank you.
Yeah. My favorite TV theme song is Crockett's Theme by Jan Hammer for Miami Vice. That was a great tune. Anna going back to the 80s, little Michael Mann. I love it. Thank you, Anna. Brian from Milwaukee says, Newhart. That was a theme song by Henry Mancini. I did not know that, Brian, but that's a great one too. When he gets off the L in Chicago, when he's walking by all those high rises, you'll appreciate this, Brian. Right out of college, I lived in that area on North Sheridan Road up by where all those high rises are. And we used to call them the Bob Newhart buildings. And it was kind of a thrill because I felt like I was living in Bob Newhart's hood, even though he never really lived there, but he was, the opening credits, they would show him walking. It was kind of cool. So I knew Bob Newhart had taken steps in that neighborhood, which was pretty cool. Ross from Crawford County says, I like your choices. I also like the theme from MASH and the original Hawaii 5-0. 2 votes for Hawaii 5-0. Get out of town. Yeah, MASH is a good one too. And the lyrics to that song from the movie are like "Suicide is painless" or something like that. They're pretty dark, but it's a great song. Thank you, Ross. Everett from Sun Prairie. He is in the 262. Pete, theme songs? Come on, man. Laverne and Shirley. Shirley deserves a mention. Yeah, I forgot about, I thought about Happy Days. I kind of forgot about Laverne and Shirley, though. Set in Milwaukee. You can't go wrong there. Well done, Everett. We have a call, Conrad?
Yes, we do.
Who do we have?
Brian in Milwaukee.
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Hey, good. How are you? Yeah, Bob Newhart Show is a good theme song where he's walking through the city. But the theme song that I'm thinking of actually is the show he did after that, which is called it's just called Newhart. And I don't know if you know this, but that's the theme song that was done by Henry Mancini.
Okay.
And the thing is that the end of that show, after it went for like 8 seasons, it actually went down in history as being one of the greatest series finales in history.
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
Something goes wrong with the town. He gets hit by a golf ball, wakes up, and they had the wife, Suzanne Bichette, wake up in the bedroom.
Yep.
Turn on the lamp, and he goes, "Oh my God, I had this bad dream." And the whole series was just a dream. That is, I love Bob Newhart to death. I thought he was great in both series. Both are great theme songs. So,
I totally agree. And thank you very much, Brian, for the call. Fantastic call.
Yeah.
Have a great night.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah. And that series, that is unequivocally, I think, considered probably the coolest ending, at least to a half-hour sitcom ever. He wakes up back in the bed with his wife from his first show. And his wife in the second show was known for wearing tight sweaters. And he asked his wife, Emily, "Hey, would you mind wearing more sweaters?" or something like that. It was just such a great line. And a great ending. Everett from Sun Prairie also says, and of course, the Golden Girls. So good. God, I forgot what the theme. I can't say I'm familiar with that, but if I heard it, I would know it. Great stuff. Thank you, everybody. Keep the texts coming. We will read them. Kurt Kraus checks in on the stream and says, my favorite TV show theme is MASH, which is also my all-time favorite TV series. Well done, Kurt. Love the first few seasons of MASH. But I thought it got very preachy after that. And wasn't as funny. It was still a good show, though. But Kurt Kraus also, Conrad, fun fact for you, photographed himself in Madison and sent it to me. He was at Flick's Brew House having a Nite IPA, hazed on radio. So shout out to Kurt Kraus and Max Blaska, one of the coolest names in show business. Thank you, guys. Hope you enjoyed the beer, and thanks for the shout out. So we are coming right back, ladies and gentlemen, with my homie, a fellow Marinette native son, Mike Strela, will be here after Civic Media's news team tells you what you need to know. It's Pete Schwaba and Nightlight on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Shiny, happy people holding. Shiny, happy people.
Tom Hartman here. You're listening to 97.9 WGBW.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. Lawmakers are reacting to the FBI arrest of a Milwaukee judge, and predictably, the reactions are mixed. Stuart J. Waddles has more.
Reactions are split along party lines after the FBI arrested Milwaukee Judge Hannah Dugan. Democrats like Governor Evers and Senator Baldwin warn of threats to judicial independence, while Republicans, including Representatives Grothman and Fitzgerald, accuse her of obstructing immigration enforcement. Judge Dugan's cases in Milwaukee County are being conducted by a reserve judge for the time being. She's got a court date of May 15th in federal court.
Police are seeking help in finding a missing 19-year-old Fox Crossing man. Police say Diego Alejandro Ramirez was last seen about 1:30 Sunday morning in the area of Elrue Drive and 9th Street on the border of Fox Crossing and Menasha. Ramirez is 5'9", weighs 122 pounds, has black hair, brown eyes, and the word dad tattooed vertically on his neck. He was last seen wearing a red hoodie and blue jeans. If you have any information, please call the Fox Crossing Police or Winnebago County Crime Stoppers. Tariffs are affecting Wisconsin farmers even before a seed is planted. Joanne Krulatz explains.
Farmers are changing what they are planting this year because of the tariffs with China. A new report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture shows that farmers are looking at the tariffs from the Trump administration and expecting to export fewer soybeans. In Wisconsin, 12% fewer acres of soybeans are being planted. That's because China makes up the bulk of soybean purchases in the world, and there's no alternative markets to sell those beans. Farmers may be moving to corn or other crops to cover the difference.
I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Sinners did not make as much as it did last week when it was also number one, but still set a record. The film pulled in $45 million, which is only 6% less than it made opening weekend. There's typically a huge fall off in week two, even for hit movies, but especially for horror films, according to Variety. Impressive reviews are giving Sinners serious legs. And speaking of legs, Star Wars Revenge of the Sith 20th anniversary re-release was number two, bringing in $25 million plus, which edged out Ben Affleck's The Accountant 2. If you want to hear Ben Affleck do a weird accent he didn't do in the first film, check it out. The Minecraft movie finished in fourth place with just over $22 million. Rounding out the top five was the horror film Until Dawn, which brought in $8 million. So far, the box office has seen 11% higher gains than at this time last year. A good sign, so keep going to the movies. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
You can always continue the conversation on social media. Share your thoughts when you find and follow Civic Media on Facebook, X, and Instagram.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, a low in the low 30s. For tomorrow, a mostly sunny day. Highs pretty close to 60. Then some showers move into the area for Thursday. Highs in the upper 50s. Warming up for the end of the week and weekend. It's 60 right now.
Amicus, a law review with Jim Santel.
Ross calling in.
Thanks for your show. I'm just wondering if we're watching or witnessing a legal system where what we thought was precedent is now going to be sort of cast away.
The reality is the question that you raise about the future and what are the implications when in fact the things we understood always to be bedrocks of our community, of our nation, are no longer that.
Amicus, a law review, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
John Mino and Jim Schmidt.
On Wednesday's show, we'll be joined by Green Bay.
This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba. Conrad is back riding shotgun after his not quite Italy length vacation, but you were gone for a substantial amount of time, but not like last year.
4 days compared to 2 weeks, I think.
We had the great Todd Michaels sat in for you here last night, which was fun. And I don't know if I'm just going to bring our guest on right now. I'm very excited to have this guy on. And I want to ask you, Mike, if you know Todd Michaels, because he's a big fan of yours. And I think he remembers you from when you were in Green Bay here.
Yeah, I haven't met Todd and seen Todd in a long time, but yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation last night on my way home.
Oh, good.
Talking about things that are peculiar, a funny word that
you really do listen.
Use.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I sure do.
That is the voice of Mike Strelo, who is the anchorman at CBS 58 in Milwaukee and has been for quite some time. He joins us here in the studio. He is also a Marinette native son, not a resident currently. It's been many years, but it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thanks so much. I really wanted this, complete in studio experience with you, Pete, and Conrad. And what a venue! Looking outside here, Washington Street. I remember when I was a kid, my parents, we'd go shopping here in Green Bay, and wow, what a transformation. This part of town looks fantastic. So I arrived about 2 hours early, thought I'd take a little trip down memory lane. I drove by the house where I spent the first 5 years of my life. I was born at St. Vincent Hospital.
Nice.
Went over to Baird Creek Road. That was the apartment my wife and I first rented after we were married back in 1987. And of course, Lambeau Field, where I sold programs for a couple of years when I was a teenager. So that brings back a lot of memories. And, Channel 2 as well, BAY, the time that I spent there, and friendships that I made, and the things that I learned as a reporter at BAY, first in the Valley Bureau, and then coming up here to Green Bay in 1987, watching and working with some of the people that I grew up watching, Chuck Ramsey, Tom Zalaski, of course, Bill Jartz, who will be retiring next month. So it is fantastic to be home.
It's so great to have you here. Does it seem like Green Bay, like when I remember when we moved to Marinette, it was 1979, I was in middle school, and we would come here to shop. It was like a big deal.
It was.
And now I come here every night, and we're looking out at where Port Plaza Mall used to be here in Green Bay. And does it seem like the world is smaller, or certainly Wisconsin anyway?
To a certain degree, yes. It was just a totally different era back then. Washington Street had all these shops up and down and so much pedestrian traffic. And then as I got into high school, Port Plaza Mall opened, and that was the big deal, right? You go through the mall and go to the Prangies. I remember going to Prangies. My wife, in fact, when we lived here, she worked at Prangies for a while, and we go up to the terrace room and have some great hamburgers up there.
Oh,
and,
nice.
And but it's been a while since I've spent time here in Green Bay, and the waterfront is fantastic, and the apartments, people are living down here, working down here, and enjoying life.
I want to say too, it's fun because you and I have only been Facebook friends for a little bit. We didn't know each other.
No.
And I reached out to you. I thought, it'd be great to have Mike on the show because we're on statewide. And I know that, or you told me afterwards when I invited you on the show, you said that's so funny because I listen to you on the way home sometimes. So this worked out really well, but we didn't know each other. So I want to say right out of the gate, we have a new friendship now. I feel like I've known you longer, probably because of the Marinette connection, but you have a face people can trust.
Okay.
Do you hear that? Is that a news cliche? I have a very untrustworthy face. I'm trustworthy, but this face is trouble.
I don't know.
You got it all going
trouble.
on, man.
It's good trouble. I love your your wit and your humor, and you and Con make a great combination here.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
Mike.
you really do.
Do you hear that though? Do you hear for you to be in Milwaukee for that long,
right?
And it's like your buddy Emerson, who I know he's been on the show, and he says when you're in news in a smaller community, Milwaukee's much bigger, but people come, they have to trust you. They tune into you, and it's because they like you or they know you're not going to give them, erroneous news somehow.
Sure.
Talk about that responsibility a little bit.
Yeah, it's something you have to earn, right?
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly, and I've been grateful to be able to make a career out of television news, first in La Crosse, then Green Bay, and then to Milwaukee. I'm in my 43rd year right now. So many opportunities, places that I've been, people that I've met, and someone comes up to you in the grocery store to say hi, and it's wonderful that they feel comfortable enough to do that and say hi, and oftentimes give you a story idea. That's where our best story ideas come from.
Really?
From our viewers. They'll send us an idea, social media, or give us a call, or sometimes write us a letter, or if you see them on the street and they say, hey, did you know this? And it's especially important for the show that I host and just have so much pride in. That's CBS 58 Sunday Morning that we just celebrated our 10th anniversary earlier this month.
Congratulations.
It's sort of like a local version of CBS Sunday Morning with Jane Pauley. And so those kinds of stories those positive, uplifting stories in an unhurried format, something that I really enjoy. 1985, when I first got the job in the Valley Bureau, working with the legendary Jerry Burke, I read this book from Charles Kuralt. It's called On the Road with Charles Kuralt. Remember, he used to have that series. And I thought, this really speaks to me, this kind of storytelling. And I thought, I'd love to do this someday. Well, 30 years later, we start up the Sunday morning show. And I've been able to share those stories and introduce stories that my colleagues put together. And I've never enjoyed anything more in my life. And fortunately, I'm going to be able to continue to do that. Grateful that our ownership, Weigel Broadcasting, and our, my managers have decided that, hey, I can continue to do that program.
Yeah.
I'm going to step away from the anchor desk at the end of the summertime. I anchor the noon and 4 right now. And work 3 days a week. So a semi-retirement, as we're calling it. I'm not ready to pull the plug completely, and I'll continue to do that.
That's so great. Let's keep it on your news gig, because I saw this. This was a fascinating statistic. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you anchored the first newscast at CBS 58 in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And now that's an insane statistic.
March 18th, 1996. See, CBS 58 was an independent station in Milwaukee and became a CBS affiliate, but didn't have a news operation. And so I was fortunate to be on the ground floor of starting a newsroom.
Wow.
And working with some fantastic people. And I remember that first night. Talk about butterflies, right?
Yeah.
It was, I can't believe this is happening.
But you had already been doing it for a while.
I've been doing it, but not in that capacity. In La Crosse, I was a reporter and then an anchor at 5. Here at WBAY, I was a nighttime reporter, fill-in anchor. I went over to TMJ4 in 1989, nighttime reporter, fill-in anchor. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go across the street and work as an anchor and reporter. And that I still am. I anchor and I report. I think the best anchors are very good reporters, and the best reporters also do some work anchoring, and they complement one another.
Boy, well said. That is the voice of Mike Strelo, who is here in the studio with me. He is the anchor of the noon and 4 o'clock news at CBS 58. He's stepping away from that, and he will continue his Sunday morning duties, which is exciting. So how did you get started? Like, where did you go to school? And I assume you studied broadcasting.
Sure. Well, it started really in high school.
Let's start Marinette.
Marinette High School. Okay. I'm at Pride of class of 1978.
All right.
Great instructors there. And I was heavily involved in sports. I played football, basketball, track. And,
nice.
I wanted to be a sportscaster. I thought, okay. And I wanted to continue playing football. So I went to UW La Crosse, played a couple of years of football there, and they had a mass comm department. And so I enrolled in that. And a couple of years of football, I thought, I'm going to step away and just focus on my career.
Less painful.
It was. And so I started up this sports interview program at the campus TV station, interviewed all of these coaches. And then my senior year, I got a job at the campus radio station to read news in the morning, get up really early and read news. And I had some fantastic mentors there who did a great job preparing me for that. And so I thought, I think I'm going to get into news. I'm going to back away from sports and focus my career on news. I thought it offered a little more variety, and I'm so glad I did. And so that's where it started. Graduated in 82 from UWL. And got my first job in La Crosse.
Right there in La Crosse.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you go from there to Green Bay. Now you've been in Milwaukee for years. What is it like when you're an anchor and you're also doing this Sunday morning show? I would imagine being in the anchor chair is much more intense because you get breaking stories probably. You also have stuff that you prepare. What do you like better? I mean, I kind of know the answer to this, or I suspect the answer, but talk a little bit about how different those two gigs are.
Yeah, well, of course, the newscasts, it's the day of news. Everything is, every day is different. That's one of the appeals of this career, is that you come in and you have an idea of the kinds of stories you're going to be doing, and then all of a sudden everything changes. And so and they change during the newscast as well.
Wow.
And so there's that adrenaline rush that you get from, anchoring a live newscast.
Yeah.
I do 2 1-hour shows every day. And then as far as the Sunday morning show, that's something that we work on all week long. And that's a 1-hour show as well. But again, it's more of an unhurried, we pretty much know the stories. We know every story, I should say, that we will be putting on. So no, I enjoy both, and they both offer opportunities and challenges. But again, I'm just ready to step back from that the daily news, 1-hour news programs, and just focus on the Sunday morning show. And as far as that adrenaline rush, I'll get it from maybe the extra free time I'll have to go fishing and catch a bass, or see the first bird that I haven't seen in a while, that type of thing. Yeah, I love walking in nature and getting out in the woods.
So I'm excited to talk about Marinette a little bit coming up. But for right now, as you can reflect, as you step away from the anchor desk, your career expectations, let's say when you were leaving Marinette High School or even college, because you had more direction then, did your career go kind of how you thought it would? Exceed expectations? Or, where are you at with that now that you can reflect?
I couldn't be happier and more blessed and fortunate to get to the point where I'm at in my career, right? To be able to live and work in the state where I grew up, where I have family and I have friends. Some people decide they want to move on to bigger markets, New York, LA, network, whatever. I never really had a desire to do that. I really cherished being closer to family members, and when I was married, being closer to my wife's family. And so I was so close to leaving Wisconsin when I was working at BAY. I got a job offer in Albany, New York.
Oh, wow.
And before I was able to sign on the dotted line, I got a call from TMJ in Milwaukee, and they hired me on the spot. And so I was able to stay in Wisconsin, and then 7 years later, make the jump over to CBS 58. And so I'm in my 29th year there.
That's
and
excellent.
I couldn't be happier.
Well, I'm glad you didn't go become Walter Cronkite or something, because then you wouldn't be sitting here, right? We wouldn't be pals. So Mike Strelo is here from CBS 58 Milwaukee. He is in studio, folks. Great to have you with me. We are coming right back with more Mike Strelo fun on Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And there's only one thing I can say. You can stand by me. Not at all. You can stand by me.
Reach, engage, grow with Civic Media. Log on civicmedia.us/advertise.
You're listening to the American Democracy Minute, keeping your government by and for the people. The Trump administration's U.S. Department of Justice reportedly reassigned top managers of the voting section and instructed remaining attorneys to drop pending cases. This includes voting rights and redistricting cases under the 1965 Voting Rights Act. April 28, The Guardian reported that the U.S. Department of Justice has stopped working on voting rights cases and has transferred Tamar Hagler, the head of DOJ's voting section, 5 other managers, and 1 staff attorney to another department. In March, Attorney General Pam Bondi withdrew a Biden DOJ brief supporting a second majority-minority congressional district in Louisiana. It asked for a dismissal of a Texas redistricting case where the votes of Black and Hispanic voters were gerrymandered to dilute their power. Then March 31st, Bondi directed DOJ to drop its voting rights case against Georgia's restrictive SB 202, targeting Black voter turnout. As of April 28th, all remaining DOJ voting rights cases have been dropped or suspended. With a conservative Supreme Court skeptical of protections of minority voters, recent erosion of the Voting Rights Act, diminishing checks on partisan and racial gerrymandering, no campaign finance enforcement by the FEC, and now no enforcement by the DOJ, Americans' right to vote in a free and fair election may be in jeopardy. We've linked to more reporting at AmericanDemocracyMinute.org. I'm Brian Beal.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
How has the first 100 days of Donald Trump affected you personally? I'm so glad for these calls and texts, because this is what matters. We can listen to national news, read national news, but it's what we here in Wisconsin are experiencing in our real lives that matter to me the most. And I think is the best indication of where our state is at.
Catch the Todd Alba Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app. Mino and the Mayor.
I talked to my brother yesterday, the priest, and he's in Quick Trip, and this lady's there, and she goes, I got up and watched the Pope's funeral this morning. Well, that's great. She goes, that was on really early. And he goes, oh yeah, 3:30. She goes, they probably did that because of the draft.
Mino and the Mayor, weekday morning 6 till 9 on 97.9 WGBW and 98.3 and 96.5 WISS and the Civic Media app.
Doctors Without Borders is delivering life-saving medical care where it's needed most in communities around the world. From bandaging war-wounded patients in Sudan to providing clean drinking water in Haiti, we're in more than 70 countries worldwide, bringing patients from sick to recovering, from emergency to aid, from crisis to care. This life-saving care is made possible by a global movement of supporters like you. Thank you.
Every time I think of you, I feel a shot right through the bow of good. It's no problem of mine, but it's a problem I find. Living a life that I can't live.
This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. That's good lead-in music, I think.
Yeah, you have
for a
great
news anchor
music
to be here.
Thank
you, Mike. Mike Strelo is here. Do you have a favorite TV theme show song?
TV theme song. I'd have to go back to probably the 60s and 70s, the shows that I watched growing up, and when they were probably more than a minute long, right? These days it's pretty much 10 seconds and they're right into the commercial. But I am a huge fan. It's a simple theme and it's just the whistle. Can you guess which?
Andy Griffith.
I tell you, I'm a huge Andy Griffith fan. I have books on Andy Griffith, and I think the writing's fantastic. It's sort of comfort TV for me.
Yeah.
Right? I think, Welcome Back.
Oh, Welcome
right?
Back.
John Sebastian. I think he was Lovin' Spoonful or something like that. He sang, Summer in the City.
Summer in the City.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I think that's a good song. So,
Great song.
Yeah.
Those are great. And that's funny you say you go back to the 60s. You look like you're like in your late 30s. Are those like Anchorman genes or what? Do you have to be born with that, or do you just have to take better care of yourself because you're on TV every night?
I don't know. Good genes. I hats off to my mom and dad.
There you go. Yeah, they did right by you.
Well,
Mike is here in the studio with me tonight. He is stepping back from his anchor duties at CBS 58 in Milwaukee, but he will still host the Sunday morning show there. And we're hanging with Mike, talking a little bit about his career. Then we're going to give him a Marinette quiz. That's coming up. We'll talk a little bit about our cumulative hometown. Mike was born and raised there. I was a transplant, but spent the second part of my childhood there. So that'll be a fun conversation. So we were talking during the break, Mike, about your most impactful moments when you were anchoring the news. And you kind of gave me a quick thumbnail, but what would you say? Tell us about what it was like when the Bucks won the championship for you.
I mean, I look back on that. We were what we call field anchoring at that time. So we go out on location. We were on the deck overlooking Deer District.
Yeah.
And during the semifinals, you could see the crowd starting to build. And then they, made it to the finals against Phoenix. And wow, you look at the mass of people and people from all over the community coming together, cheering for the Bucks. And, we're up telling stories, talking about our knowledge of the Bucks from 1970s and 80s, the tough years during the 90s, and then how far they've come. I remember I was able to actually interview Kareem Abdul-Jabbar about 10 years ago. He came to town, and I talked to him. I said, Kareem, I never thought I'd do this, but when I was 11 years old, I remember listening to Eddie Doucette call the games. I had this little transistor radio under my pillow, and I'd hear him talk about you, the King, and the Rabbit, Lucius Allen. I'm sorry, Bobby Dandridge. No, Bobby Dandridge was the Greyhound. Lucius Allen was the Rabbit. But I mean, here I am talking to Kareem about these childhood memories, and he really enjoyed that. Had a nice, engaging conversation. But getting to, the Bucks on the precipice of a world championship, and we were out there, and they won Game 6, and then we had to. Afterward, we started talking about what had just happened and the crowd reaction, and we must have been out there for 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
Myself, Natalie Shepard, and it was just a fantastic time out there, and we were just sort of working off one another, just talking about what we experienced, and it was a fantastic experience, and to be able to share that with people in Milwaukee was awesome. Kevin Holden was the other person, of course, our sports director, and I would just sort of feed off of him because he was an encyclopedia.
It's so great too, because that was a special thing for Milwaukee. Like, we just, the Packers are in Green Bay, even though most people in Milwaukee are Packer fans, but that was a specific to Milwaukee championship. And we've had Sean Hanisch on the show, who directed a film called Just a Bit Outside. He's been on the show a few times. The Brewers came close. So for the Bucks to get that championship, and you to be there like that, experiencing all of that in the Deer District, must have been incredible.
And I was able to come down here up here to Green Bay when the Packers returned after their 2011 Super Bowl win. And I was standing on top of our live truck as the players were filing in their cars, and talking about my experiences here in Green Bay and working at Lambeau Field, selling programs in the, I think it was 1974 and 5. And I think Bart Starr was a coach, and things weren't all as good as they are today. But that was fantastic as well.
That's so great. All right. You also are the recipient of the Chicago Midwest chapter of National Academy of Television Arts, the Silver Circle Award. And that's for service, I think, more than 25 years.
Right.
And that you've become a staple in the community. That's a pretty special award, Mike.
Well, I was grateful to receive that. And for those who voted me in, a prestigious company, really. And it was a special day. I remember I woke up under the weather. My voice wasn't very good, but I thought I'm going to give this a shot. And my dad gave me provided the induction speech, and that was special.
Nice. Wow.
Because he's been so instrumental in my life. And fortunately, I was able to give back. I was the MC of this year's event. And
very cool.
Yeah, and one of the inductees was Jerry Burke, who was my mentor when I first got the job in Green Bay. Here I'm up there introducing Jerry, and him receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award was just fantastic.
You didn't have to pull a Tanya Hardigan kneecap anybody so there was a front runner and you took care of the competition.
Right.
It's a cutthroat business. That's what I hear, Mike.
It's competitive. Television
But you
news
just seem like the nicest guy in the world. You must have just done this on merit, which I don't understand.
There's
but good for you.
There's a place to be nice, and there's a place to be respectively competitive, right?
Exactly. and I will say now, Mike had me in a headlock before the broadcast. He does have a dark side, but we won't go there. Mike Strelo is here. He's going to stick with us through the news. We're going to do a Marinette quiz. We're going to take him down a little trip down memory lane through Marinette and his childhood, and that will be fun. Stick around. The news is coming up next. It's Intermission on Nightlight. It's Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.
So you're tired, just wanna close your eyes, follow your dream down. We made a promise, so we don't always
This is 97.9 WGBW Denmark, Green Bay's real news and great conversation, a Civic Media radio station.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. President Trump marking the first 100 days of his second term with a speech in Michigan this afternoon, telling supporters just north of Detroit.
They all want to come back to Michigan and build cars again. You know why? Because of our tax and tariff policy.
On Air Force One, on his way to Michigan, President Trump signing new executive orders reducing the total tariffs U.S. automakers will pay if they use foreign parts but manufacture cars in the U.S. President Trump speaks one-on-one to our Terry Moran tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. Thousands of Los Angeles County employees walked off the job this morning, accusing the county of failing to fairly negotiate a new labor contract deal. That includes public works employees, public and mental health professionals, social workers, parks and rec workers. The walkout expected to last 48 hours. In Canada, voters electing Liberal candidate Mark Carney as the new prime minister. His election fueled by anti-Trump sentiment. This is ABC News.
Enjoying this local program? Find the complete Civic Media lineup at civicmedia.us or the Civic Media app.
For 97.9 WGBW News, I'm Lisa Hale. The Green Bay Area Public School District Board of Education voted last night to name the new Westside Elementary School Star Elementary after Bart and Cherry Star. Board Vice President Lynn Gerlach.
If we will name it Star Elementary School, we will be able to recognize both Bart Star and Cherry, and that the Packer Hall of Fame will give us a bust of both Bart Star and Cherry Star. I would love to have an elementary school where the little girls walk in and they see a woman there.
In addition to naming Star Elementary, the board saw newly elected Jeanette Nill and Alex Minot and re-elected James Lyerly begin their 3-year terms. Scammers love to use fear and a sense of urgency when spinning their web of deceit. Kate Mann, Public Affairs and Crime Prevention Officer with the Oshkosh Police Department, says law enforcement agencies across Winnebago County are using posters at Bitcoin ATMs to get people to slow down and think before sending any cryptocurrency or gift card to scammers.
Like, oh, you have to do this right now. It's, either emergency or they're making it sound very scary. Like there's going to be consequences if you don't. And I always tell citizens when I'm out in the community talking about it, that just because it's this person's emergency doesn't necessarily mean it's yours, and to just kind of, slow down and verify what's going on.
Mann said the posters are meant to stop potential victims from sending money because once it's sent, it can be impossible to get back. From local news to what's going on around the state, Civic Media's mission is to bring you real news and great conversation. I'm Lisa Hale, 97.9 WGBW News. For news anytime, log on to WGBW.FM.
The Brewers head to Chicago. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports, baseball. The Brewers opening a 3-game series tonight against the Chicago White Sox. Center fielder Garrett Mitchell on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique muscle. Pat Murphy on moving Jackson Churio over to center field.
I think he'll adjust to it. He's got a long way to go to be a great outfielder, and he certainly has the ability, as he's shown offensively, he has the ability to be every bit as good defensively. So it's a work in progress, but I think he'll respond.
NFL, the Packers have signed a free agent, Isaiah Simmons, to a 1-year deal. The veteran linebacker played for the Giants last season. NBA, a must-win for the Bucks tonight as they face the Pacers in Indy, down 3-1. Giannis on seeing Damian Lillard go down Sunday night with that torn Achilles tendon.
You see your teammate being down, first thought is like, come on, get up. And he cannot walk on his own. You kind of know that this serious, especially for a guy like Dame.
That's the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo with Sports on Mike Clemens.
This is your local Civic Media radio station. Want to hear even more? Anytime? Find all of it at civicmedia.us.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, a low in the low 30s. For tomorrow, a mostly sunny day. Highs pretty close to 60. Then some showers move into the area for Thursday. Highs in the upper 50s. Warming up for the end of the week and weekend. It's 60 right now.
Jay Matnair and Greg Bach.
Coming up on the show, would $5,000 be enough for you to have another baby? Dr. Kristen Lyerly joins us. Don't miss it.
Matnair on air, weekday mornings 9 to 11. The Todd Albaugh Show.
David Hogg, Democratic National Committee Vice Chair, says, no, we're going to spend $20 million to take out fellow Democrats who are either too old or not voting progressive enough. And Republicans are doing this as well. They don't want any compromise, zero-sum game. I spent 30 years in politics. The best politics are pragmatic. You get 75% of the loaf and you move on.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app.
Farm Rescue makes sure that you aren't alone. They're there to extend the hand and to take the burden.
Even the most independent farmers need help sometimes, and asking for that help is protecting the future. Farm Rescue provides equipment and volunteers free of charge to assist in times of crisis. We're currently accepting applications for planting and haying assistance. If you or someone you know could use
Broadcasting live from the Civic Media Studios in Green Bay, this is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, your inside source on everything entertainment from Wisconsin to Hollywood. And now, a guy who thinks outside the box and hates cliches, Pete Schwaba.
All right. Welcome back, folks. This is hour number 2. Intermission is over. Nightlight is underway. I am Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me on this Tuesday night. Conrad is back with draft stories aplenty. He is severely hungover, but he's gutting through. I only say that because I know your parents are listening. And my guest in studio, actually coming up in a few minutes, we're gonna switch at the bottom of the hour and talk about a new film festival here in Wisconsin. So that's exciting. Miles Kristen will be here right now. I'm just thrilled to have my guest in studio, Mike Strelo. He is the longtime anchor of the 4 o'clock and noon news at CBS 58 in Milwaukee, and he hosts the Sunday morning show on the same network. Mike, great to have you.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
It really is a pleasure. It's a treat for me to talk to you and share stories about my time here in Green Bay and, of course, Marinette and a career that, in a blink, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
43 years, right? And I've been fortunate to meet a lot of people, go a lot of places, and experience a lot of things. It's like a lifelong education. They say, this is the story you're going to be doing today. You may have some pretty good ideas as to how to go about it, and you may have some background on it more so. But then you go to school, you do your research, and you learn something new. You come away from it, just a better person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you here. You've never asked me to be on your show, but I didn't even care. I still wanted you to come on the show. So who's keeping score right now?
Okay, might have to come up here and do a Sunday morning story in the future. Right. I'm going to have some extra time to do that.
Listen, I will wear the nicest dress. I will do a soft shoe, whatever you need, buddy. All right. So I thought this would be fun. So Mike grew up in Marinette. He's a native son, born and raised. I'm a transplant. I moved there, interestingly enough, I think, probably shortly after you left. I was in junior high. And so some of the staples of Marinette in the late 70s, early 80s, you're probably still familiar with or remember.
Yeah.
And I remember them. And sometimes I drive around Marinette and I'm like, oh, that's where that was. I forgot about that. And I'm like, I have this long association with the town. I live there now and it's much different. So I thought it'd be fun to give you a quiz to see what you remember. Sound fun?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Conrad, you got the bell ready? Oh, wow. Let me turn this. I just went deaf there with the Jim Schmidt had this on volume. He had it on the Spinal Tap, volume 11, I think. All right. So here we go. Mike Strelo, anchorman at CBS 58, here in the studio, made the trip up from Green Bay, Conrad. Did you reimburse him for his gas money?
We can talk about it after the show.
We'll do that. He's out of his own pocket. All right. Mike is here. We're going to give him the Marinette, Wisconsin quiz. Where is this? Here we go. It's the Marinette Days of Yore quiz. That's what I'm calling it. Mike, name this hardware store where you could also buy sporting goods on Hall Avenue.
Janquin.
He is strong out of the gate, ladies and gentlemen.
That's where we go, and I think that's where we got leather jackets.
Yeah.
I mean, they just had everything there.
And they had popcorn.
Yes.
I remember that. I was like, wow, this place literally has everything.
It used to be in a smaller store. Then they, I think, moved into what used to be a grocery store, and they had a lot more space there. But yeah. My dad knew Mr. Janquin. My dad was in the Chamber of Commerce, and he knew people in town. But yeah,
your dad probably knew my folks and your mom.
Yeah, sure.
Because they got pretty involved right after we moved there. But that Janquin's was an adjustment for me because I grew up. The first part of my childhood was in the city of Chicago, right in the city, and we had sports stores. You just went in and it was all sports. And I remember going into Janquin's being like, wait, they got hammers and baseball gloves. And then there's popcorn. It was just it was the coolest, funkiest store. All right. Number 2, Mike is 1 for 1. This shop was located between Stevenson Bank and the Interstate Bridge and served hot dogs, milkshakes, cigars, and I think adult magazines in the back. All your shopping needs.
There were adult magazines in the back at Goodfellows. But I tell you, the hot dogs and the root beer floats were just fantastic. We'd walk in there and
Just go to town.
We wouldn't go to the back. We were a little too young for that, but we'd see other people and go, what's going on back there? But yeah, Goodfellas, it definitely was a staple there.
It's a throwback. And they had a great, I think it was a white and black tiled floor, maybe. It had a great old school look.
And there was a bar that you could sit at, a counter, I should say, not the bar, because they did have a bar to the left, but you'd have a counter and sit and eat your hot dog or two. And
great throwback. And there was always the danger Michael Corleone was going to come out of the restroom and, kill the chief of police. All right, number 3, Mike is 2 for 2. This place was packed in the summer. What was the name of the beach that used to be right in front of UW Marinette?
And I spent many nights there after bar time. I used to bartend at the Stein, and then afterward we'd go down and build bonfires. I mean, It was University Beach when I was young. I know it's got a different name now.
Yeah. Well, it's not there now.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of sad. It's like there's brush and trees, and there's a nice walkway and a bench, but the beach isn't there. And I never wonder why they never kept that up, because I remember going there. I was in grade school, but I thought, man, this place is like...
And the water was always warm. Right?
Yeah.
The bay water and, nice sand. And it was a great place.
It's really puzzling to me because they just kind of stopped having a beach. I'm like, that's like, they just let it grow over. All right, Mike is 3 for 3. He is on a roll. What was the name of the furniture store on Main Street?
The Globe.
Yeah.
There's a picture I have in my scrapbook of me in grade school with some of my classmates, and we were doing a science project. Remember that project where you'd make a volcano and it would spew stuff out? So the Globe.
That's great. Very well done. Owned by the McCarriers and the Pluffs. I don't know if you know them.
Sure. Definitely.
Okay. All right. This is kind of I think you'll get this one.
Okay.
All right. Before the Best Western, right at the foot of the bridge, was the Best Western. A different popular hotel franchise owned the building. What was it called?
Yeah, it was the Holiday Inn. When my mom turned 50, my dad on the little marquee said, happy birthday, Dar, 50 is nifty. But it's still there. It's a Marinette's high rise.
6 stories. There you go.
Uh-huh.
All right. So here's a bonus to that.
All right.
If you can get this. All right. What was the hotel called that formerly used to occupy the parking lot of the current Best Western, former Holiday Inn?
There's the Hotel Marinette.
Very nice.
Yeah, wow. Marinette. In fact, I'm sure, but I think there was a sign in Lolly's bar that had Hotel Marinette. But I remember some people had remnants of the old hotel.
Yeah.
It used to be a grand, beautiful hotel.
Beautiful
too.
lobby.
Mhm.
I've only seen pictures, but Al Capone apparently stayed there. And there are photos of his henchmen out in front kind of keeping watch.
Oh, no.
So maybe they were worried Mr. Jenkins was going to come down the street and take him out or something. Here, this is just an anything goes question.
Sure.
Mike. What is the best fish fry you've ever had in Marinette?
I'd have to say the Elks Club.
Oh, nice.
When we were young, my mom and dad were members of the Elks, and we'd go there on Friday nights and have perch. And it was delicious. I mean, probably like the $1.65 was right for the dinner.
Right.
And I'd eat just tons of perch and coleslaw and fries, and it was a fun time.
Here's a funny story. When we moved to Marinette, my dad joined like I said, my folks got very involved. My dad joined the Elks Club, and my friends at school did your dad get initiated? And I'd be like, I guess so. And that was a big thing. And they're like, oh man, you don't even want to know what happened. I'm like, what? I had these horrible images of my dad going through hell just to be part of this community organization of old guys.
Right.
Like, what were they doing in there,
Strange initiations.
Then I saw Animal House. I was like, was it something like that? Like, thank you, sir. May I have another? Or what? I don't know what's going on. All right. Mike Strelo is here, folks. He is a native son, Marinette, Wisconsin. My hometown right now. We're on a trip down memory lane. I'm giving Mike a quiz. He has not gotten one wrong answer yet about his hometown. And some of these questions are going back a few years. So we'll keep going. Mike is 7 for 7. The Pine Tree Mall had JCPenney on one end of it, and then 2 other stores anchoring this architectural wonder. Both of these other anchor stores share a name. What were they?
Prangy Way?
Yes.
Okay, Prangy Way. In fact, we're just talking about Prangies here in Green Bay, right? And the other Sears was in the back.
These two share a name.
They share a name.
You said Prangy Way.
Right.
The other one, the more upscale store, was just
Prangy's. Right.
Got to give you that one. It was a little misleading.
Okay.
So, all right, Mike's crushing it. What was the name of the music store in the Pine Tree Mall?
Musicland.
Yeah.
You see, I go to Musicland, but you know what? And I think it was 77. I went to this record store off the beaten path down Main Street, closer toward Minneconne. You know where that is, right?
Yeah,
Minneconne. And they had some music that, you know, the mainstream music land didn't have.
Yeah.
And they had really intelligent people who worked there who said, hey, you might want to check this out. I think they had some bootleg stuff too, right?
Oh,
you know,
nice.
but he pulls out this album. I think it was in 77. And I'm looking, he said, I think you're going to like this. It's their first album. I took it home, started playing it. And I'm like, wow, I really like this music here. And it wasn't on the radio, right? So you're listening to music no one else is hearing.
Right.
And you're trying to get on the cutting edge. It was Foreigner's first album. And about 6 months later, all of a sudden you heard Cold as Ice on the radio and Feels Like the First Time. And people are saying, I said, yeah, I've had that for about 6 months now, you know. But yeah.
I listened to them before they were famous.
Right. But
yeah.
I love, and there's still some of those record stores around. On our
few
Sunday
and far
morning show,
between,
we did
yeah.
one about one in West Dallas, and vinyl, of course, making a comeback. Everything's cyclical, right?
Yeah.
But it did bring back memories of when
that's
albums
fun.
were king, and then
I thought you were going to say like Violent Femmes or something, but Foreigner became like mainstream huge,
right?
You know?
Yeah.
That's so great. Mike Strelo is here. He is an anchorman from Milwaukee, joining us here in the studio at Green Bay. He works at CBS 58, and you can see his. When can people see the Sunday morning show? You want to give a
Sure. We're on at 7 a.m. and on CBS 58, and then we also re-air it on at 10 o'clock in the morning on WMLW, the M, which is our sister station. You can always go online at CBS 58/Sunday morning to take a look at the stories that we air every week. We post them online right after the show. So some
Very cool.
fantastic storytelling by some talented people in our newsroom. They really look forward to, you know, getting away from the day-to-day stuff, which is really important, and that's great. They get to stretch their legs, and I think our management team has done a wonderful job providing our team with the resources to go out and cover these stories. You know, such and such a reporter will have a Sunday day. They're going to go out and shoot it, and they'll have a Sunday right day. And so I think that really helps draw in people, you know, to our shop. They know they're going to have those opportunities they may not get elsewhere.
Right. Awesome, man. Well, let's see if we can get another question in here before the break. What was the name of the men's store across the street from Blue Bike Burrito, where Blue Bike Burrito is now?
Mm-hmm. Goldberg's?
Yes!
Yes.
I guarantee you got your prom tux there probably, right?
Yes.
I have a prom tux story that we'll tell right after this break. Mike is going to stick around. Miles Kristen coming up at 7:35. We have a blue tux in common that we'll get into that next. It's Pete Schwaba at Nightlight hanging out with Mike Strelo here at WGBW on the Civic Media Radio Network.
And she can't do a thing to me. I just wanna dance the night away with senoritas who can sway. Right now, tomorrow's looking bright.
The talk of Green Bay, WGBW.
Hey, it's Amanda with another new Wisco 411 for you, brought to you by Area 509 in Appleton. And if you happen to be a caregiver in the Outagamie County, this event is for you. Because on Wednesday, April 30th, from 3:30 till 6 p.m., you can join other caregivers for the Outagamie Caregiver Appreciation Event. Connect with others as you relax, enjoy dinner, speakers, and learn about local supportive resources. Plus, there's a load of prizes to be won. Head to WGBW.FM and click events to find out more.
I'm Dan Schaefer. Let's recombobulate. On April 22nd, in the Wisconsin State Senate, something happened that you don't see too often. A high-profile bill passed with overwhelming bipartisan support. The Republican-controlled chamber voted 32-1 to extend Medicaid coverage for new moms from 60 days to 12 months. Wisconsin is one of only 2 U.S. states that has not already extended this critical postpartum coverage. So with that kind of support, you'd expect the bill to pass, right? Well, Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos has repeatedly blocked this legislation from coming up for a vote. Several Republican state representatives have been speaking out on this, urging Vos to change his tune, but he has not yet budged. It's time for Vos to end this charade and allow this bill to come up for a vote. If he's opposed, he can still vote against it, but one person should not block a bill that has already been supported by the majority of his own party. Let the people vote, Mr. Speaker.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's construction season, and the Wisconsin DOT wants to help you safely navigate work zones. Check 511wi.gov or download the app for road work or closures on your route. Know before you go with 511 Wisconsin. Sponsored by the Wisconsin DOT.
The Maggie Dawn Show.
Check out my war plans. Pete Hegseth talking about first big strike against the Houthis in Yemen on Signal, 2 separate channels. Yes, the one you heard about before with the reporter on it. Oops-a-daisy. And now also his wife, his bro, and his lawyer who magically got hired by the Pentagon. This guy's judgment could not be worse. Do you think Hegseth should probably resign?
The Maggie Dawn Show. Weekday afternoons, 4 until 6 on your local Civic Media radio station.
There's a problem there, there's iron, bargain buildings, weights and pulleys.
Welcome back, folks. Great to have you with me. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, and you are here on a great night on a Tuesday. One of my newest friends, Mike Strelo, is here in the studio. We connected recently. We're both from Marinette. Mike has been doing great things in Milwaukee as an anchorman at CBS 58 for well, you've been an anchorman for a couple decades plus, and CBS 58 since 97, did you say?
I joined 1996, CBS
96,
58.
okay. First broadcast.
Pretty
cool.
Yeah, it was.
You've had a great career, and you're crushing our my Marinette quiz. I'm going to have to make this a little more difficult next time. It'll be like graduate school. Okay, here we go. Mike is 10 for 10, Conrad, right?
Correct.
All right. The great thing about Conrad is, I don't know if he's keeping score or not, but he's great at just going, yes.
No.
All right. So this is my baby anyway. I came up with this quiz because I know Marinette. Conrad is just keeping score, which is fantastic. All right. There used to be 3 kick-ass bars in downtown Marinette. Can you name them? There was actually more than 3, Mike, and you kind of said one before. So now you just have to name 2.
Lollies.
Yep.
The Oak.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful.
Love
building.
that bar.
Dunlap Square building.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of history.
Beautiful bar.
And the third.
Kind of have a few to choose from. There was one right next to the Oak in that same building, but maybe that was after you had left.
Yeah.
There was another little pub between Lollies and the Oak across from the courthouse.
Yeah, that must have been after I left to go to college. I'd say the Stein just because I worked there. That was on Main Street.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can accept that. That was downtown, though, right?
It was downtown.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Conrad, if you please. TJ's was one. And then the Downtowner.
Oh.
Which some guy moved there into town and bought the Downtowner and the Oak and made them one bar.
Mm-hmm.
It was like sacrilege. The Oak was a gorgeous stained glass window, this beautiful winding bar, which I understand is at a restaurant in Crivets now. There was a fire, but they saved the bar.
Okay.
Because it's Wisconsin. A couple people died, but they got the bar out.
The bar.
So, all right. Mike is 11 for 11. We just have a couple more here. What is the name of the baseball field near the campground?
Peterson Field.
Crushing it.
My brother-in-law is Rick Peterson, and it's named after his grandfather.
Rick Peterson, who would be 40s or 50s?
Rick Peterson, class of 72.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know a Rick Peterson, but I think it's a different guy.
Yeah.
All right, here. This is a good one. And there was a trivia question somebody sent in for you earlier. Name 2 Minikani bars from back in the day.
My brother-in-law Rick Peterson took me on a tour of Minikani bars shortly before his wedding day.
I thought you were going to say for your Sunday morning show.
No.
Okay.
Oh gosh, that's a tough one.
We might finally.
I think you got me.
There's one that has a cactus in it.
The Cactus Inn.
Cactus Bar.
Cactus Bar.
And then what was the other? Jeff's Anchor Inn.
Okay.
And then there was
Is there a Mariner? I don't know. There's a Bob's Bar.
There was a Bob's Bar on Main Street.
There was Bourbon Street Disco where I learned to dance.
How about that? That place is gone now. But when we moved there, I'm like, there was a disco on Main Street.
It
the
had
Bourbon
a
Street
floor
disco
lit up just like the Saturday Night Fever floor with the squares, and spent a lot of time at the disco.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah, great times there.
All right, last one for you, Mike. Mike Strelo is here taking our Marinette quiz because that's our hometown. Mike and I, we're not a couple. I don't mean it like that. I mean he's a happily married man, as am I. However, Mike grew up there. He has not been back there very often, though. So he's doing very well in the quiz. What is he, 13 or 14, Conrad?
Yeah.
All right. He finally got one wrong, but that was a tough one. What was the name of the roller rink on Cleveland Avenue?
I think it was just the roller rink.
You're close.
Yeah. I think I'm going to miss out on this one.
This is how trustworthy.
Boy, oh boy.
All right. I just fed Mike
know.
the answer, and he still didn't
the
take
dome?
The roller dome.
The roller dome.
Very nice.
Roller dome.
I'll give you that one just for your
First
honesty.
I'm thinking the dome where, the dome, the famous dome out by the lake. Everything. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, the roller dome.
And we have someone texted in earlier, Pat, from the 715 said a Marinette trivia question is what neighborhood in Marinette has a block with the most taverns on it in the world? And I think that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Minikani. Yeah. I don't know if that's still true, but it's still a rockin' place. There's a lot of bars down there. Yeah. Conrad, do we miss any text here from Mike? Or are we good?
Well, on the stream.
What do we have on the stream?
Todd Michaels.
Oh, Todd Michaels, of course. He says Mike Strelo, triple exclamation point. Todd is not messing around.
Thanks,
he
Todd.
says one of the very best,
Well,
as is
that.
Todd Michaels. So that's great. And I could not agree more, Todd. Dave Kunish from Marinette says, great show tonight. Memories. Yeah, this is sort of we're on statewide. I don't know how much people know about Marinette, but they're getting an education tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks to
Kunish reminds me of, it's a relation, but Irv Kunish was my football coach.
Okay.
In my sophomore year. And
I would imagine they're
fantastic
related,
guy. Learned a lot from him. In
Yeah.
fact, I wasn't going to go out for basketball, I think my junior year, and he sat me down and said, I think you should, I thought I should be weightlifting and just focusing on football. He said, no, be involved in all sports. And it was a great lesson.
That's fantastic.
So.
Mike, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you come and do this again. I hope you enjoy your partial retirement, and let's hang in Marinette. When you get up there, give me a call and we'll get some lunch.
Would
or
love
something.
to, Pete. Good
All
to
right.
see you. Good to see you, Conrad. And thanks to Civic Media.
And thank
for
you
inviting
for
me in.
absolutely. Thank you for listening on your drive home.
Enjoy it.
We'll give you a shout out every once in a
All
while.
right, buddy.
Enjoy your semi-retirement. Mike Strelo, ladies and gentlemen, part of Night Lite tonight. It's in the books. It's history on a Tuesday night. We are coming right back to talk some independent film, and we'll read your texts, and we'll have a grand time. This is Pete Schwaba and Night Lite on the Civic Media Radio Network.
The champion of dance, his moves will put you in a trance, and he never leaves the disco alone. Arrogance but not conceit, as a man he's complete.
From Hobart to Bay Settlement, 97.9 WGBW. Local radio for you and your community. It's Civic Media's mission with stations across Wisconsin. Find your favorites at civicmedia.us.
ABC News, I'm Dave Packer. President Trump marking the first 100 days of his second term with a speech in Michigan this afternoon, telling supporters just north of Detroit.
They all want to come back to Michigan and build cars again. You know why? Because of our tax
and tariff policy.
On Air Force One on his way to Michigan, President Trump signing new executive orders reducing the total tariffs U.S. automakers will pay if they use foreign parts but manufacture cars in the U.S. President Trump speaks one-on-one to our Terry Moran tonight, 8 Eastern on ABC. Thousands of Los Angeles County employees walked off the job this morning, accusing the county of failing to fairly negotiate a new labor contract deal. That includes public works employees, public and mental health professionals, social workers, parks and rec workers. The walkout expected to last 48 hours. In Canada, voters electing Liberal candidate Mark Carney as the new prime minister. His election fueled by anti-Trump sentiment. This is ABC News.
The Brewers head to Chicago. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports baseball. The Brewers opening a 3-game series tonight against the Chicago White Sox. Center fielder Garrett Mitchell on the 10-day IL with a strained oblique muscle. Pat Murphy on moving Jackson Churio over to center field.
I think he'll adjust to it. He's got a long way to go to be a great outfielder, and he certainly has the ability, as he's shown offensively. He has the ability to be every bit as good defensively. So it's a work in progress, but I think he'll respond.
NFL, the Packers have signed a free agent, Isaiah Simmons, to a 1-year deal. The veteran linebacker played for the Giants last season. NBA, a must-win for the Bucks tonight as they face the Pacers in Indy, down 3-1. Giannis on seeing Damian Lillard go down Sunday night with that torn Achilles tendon.
You see like your team being down, first thought is like, come on, get up. And he cannot walk on his own. You kind of know that he's serious, especially for a guy like Dame.
That's the Bucks, Giannis Antetokounmpo with Sports on Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. The new Hunger Games film, Sunrise on the Reaping, is in pre-production high gear. Last week, 2 leads were cast, and now Jesse Plemons has been cast as a young Plutarch Havensby. Hope I'm saying that right. That was the role previously played by Philip Seymour Hoffman. Hoffman's last film roles before passing away in 2014 at the age of 46 were both Hunger Games movies. Sunrise on the Reaping takes place 24 years before the Hunger Games and should hit theaters in November 2026. Here's one of Pete's picks that I liked 75% of. The film Drop is a good thriller for most of the movie. It's got a slick look, is well acted, and has an interesting plot where a widow goes on a first date. Throughout the course of the evening, her phone is airdropped threatening messages. It's a fun watch while trying to figure out who is behind the threats. It goes a little off the rails in the last 15 minutes and becomes a bit unrealistic. Having said that, you will love 75% of this movie. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Your news, conversations, and a whole lot of fun. It's all on your local Civic Media radio station or the Civic Media app.
I'm meteorologist Mace Michaels. Mostly clear tonight, a low in the low 30s. For tomorrow, a mostly sunny day. Highs pretty close to 60. Then some showers move into the area for Thursday. Highs in the upper 50s. Warming up for the end of the week and weekend. Right now, it's 58.
I'm Tony Goldwyn. As an actor and a director, I attend a lot of screenings. But there's one that's different. It's important, and it could save your life. A lung cancer screening. I lost my mom to lung cancer when she was just 68 years old. Screenings help diagnose lung cancer early when it's most treatable, even curable. A quick, low-dose CT scan is all it takes. Go-To for lung cancer is your go-to. Visit goto.org.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
How has the first 100 days of Donald Trump affected you personally? I'm so glad for these calls and texts because this is what matters. We can listen to national news, read national news, but it's what we here in Wisconsin are experiencing in our real lives that mattered to me the most, and I think is the best indication of where our state is at.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app. Todd Albaugh.
Hey, everybody, join us next time. Back together again. Pat Kreitlow of Mornings with
Get up home. I wanna drive them home. When you're feeling blue, think it's just
Welcome back. We are in the, let's see, I called intermission. I called the news break intermission. So I guess now we can switch to sports and call this the fourth quarter, maybe?
The fourth quarter sounds pretty cool. I like that. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah. That was fun. Mike Strelo was here fellow Marinette. He's a former native. I'm a current native. That was fun to get to know Mike a little bit. And he's going to go far in this business. He's really making a name for himself. I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So Kurt Krause on the Strauss. Kurt Krause on the stream.
I actually like that. That sounded cool.
Kurt Krause on the Strauss. That's a great name. That's a great showbiz name. He says, I was just in Marinette today. It is a really beautiful area. Love the river. Could not agree more, Kurt. How are you up there, Kurt? Call me. You know what? Maybe Kurt and I weren't as good of friends as I thought. Conrad, right now I was thinking, God, I go there every week, and I hope he doesn't find out. All right, we're going to switch our conversation here to the world of independent film. There's a new film festival here in Wisconsin, which is exciting. And I don't have those questions, Conrad, so if you don't mind reprinting those, that would be great. But my guest is, this is exciting. It's the SOGO Film Festival, and it's in Stoughton, Wisconsin. And joining me right now on Nightlight is the founder of said film festival, Miles Kristen. Miles, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
Am I saying your last name correctly?
Kristen, yeah.
Kristen, perfect.
Yep.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Unfortunately, I do work nights, and we had a few people not show up, so I won't be able to stay more than a minute, but I can tell you all about the film festival very quickly.
I guess I don't need these questions after all. Yeah, go fire away. I didn't realize that. I thought we had booked this. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
But I don't want you to get in trouble.
No. It's so the SOGO Film Fest is an independent film festival in Stoughton. We started this 4 years ago. We don't charge anyone anything. It's all donation based. Filmmakers, attendees. It's completely free. It's been supported by the community, and we have a range of films from comedy, horror, sci-fi, and even some documentary work.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, are you from Stoughton? Is that how this happened? Or
I'm from Racine originally, and I started doing film about 20 something years ago, film and independent journalism. And this year we're going to have a documentary about political protest parade floats that happened in Door County on the 4th of July years ago. We have a documentary about the lead poisoning that exists in Milwaukee to this day. We have another documentary about election officials, as well as a series of different short films from filmmakers from all over the state, and also even a filmmaker from Romania. So we've been doing this for 4 years now. It's going to be May 30th and 31st in Stoughton, Wisconsin, at the Stoughton Village Players Theater and the Stoughton Opera House. And the website is sogo.film, and you can find out everything about the festival there.
that's fantastic. Do you have time to tell us about your 3 awards? I find that it's interesting who they're named after.
I will tell you real quickly, and then I do have to run.
What's your day job, Miles? What do you have
I'm a manager at a supper club, and so the 3 awards I'll tell you real quickly. I had the opportunity to interview John Dunsworth from Trailer Park Boys. He told me all about how he wasn't able to find work as an actor, so he created his own theater company, and so he was building a community of filmmakers or of artists and actors. And so in honor of John Dunsworth, we have a Dunsworth Award. There was a individual I did a documentary on years ago named Jim Goodnow. He had a Peace Bus called the Yellow Rose of Texas. He was a storyteller. I have dedicated an award to him as well. And then Harold Langhammer was a Madison entrepreneur who helped artists and gave space for art galleries and so forth. Yeah. And so we have one documenting him as well. So check out sogo.film to find out about the festival.
Well, get out there before everybody dines and dashes, and then you're on the hook for all the loot. So I appreciate you taking...
Sorry, I can't talk longer. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Good luck with the film festival. Break a leg.
Thank you.
Okay. That's Miles Kristen. Check out the SOGO, SOGO Film Festival, May 30th and 31st in Stoughton, Wisconsin. It sounds like they have 2 really cool venues. I've heard really good stuff about that Stoughton Opera House. So the venues sound great. I was looking at the film festival website earlier, and the films look great too. I got to tell you, I had not even heard of this. So I'm excited for them. I hope this does well. Go to sogofilm.com, SOGO.FILM, and learn more about what you can do. If you're in Central Wisconsin, that's fantastic. So thank you to Miles for taking time out. And I've never that cracked. I have to say that cracked me up. We had a guest booked, and he said, "I can only stay a minute." I was not prepared for that, but he manages a supper club, Conrad.
Yeah.
They're all helping themselves to the beer right now, and it's our fault.
Well,
we're dining and dashing.
I wish I was
going
there.
On there in Stoughton, yeah. But good luck to Miles and break a leg at the Sogo Film Festival. We have a caller, did you say?
Yeah, Daniel Wheeler called in. He actually could talk about it a little bit more if you would like.
Yeah, I think Daniel. Yeah, Daniel, are you there?
I'm there.
Hey, bud. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, I thought, Miles has got to run. Maybe I could jump in and talk a little bit more there, so you don't have to do reruns of Barney Miller.
Oh, no. I got tons of texts to get to. We're fine, but I appreciate you calling. And for those of you that don't remember, and even if you have a good memory, it would be tough to remember this because it was many months ago. Daniel was on the show, and he was a great guest. And you brought a mask. You remember that, Daniel? Very scary mask.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
Yeah.
Whatever became of that?
Well, it's going to be in to do a segue action here. You can go and see it at the Sogo Film Festival because it's in the movie The Last Witch in Wisconsin. And it's a creepy cement mask that you got to see it to believe it. And it's a part of the movie. And it'll be playing there on the same day as two of your other guest faves, Craig Knit and JB Man Behind the Man.
Yeah.
They have The Inheritance and The Rise of Armageddon, the musical. So all three of those are going to be playing the same day, Saturday, May 31st. So I'm kind of excited for all three of us, just being Fox
Absolutely.
City filmmakers. Yeah.
You guys are like the sort of like the glue, I would say, of the Fox Valley film community. And good for you guys. Every time I turn around at a film festival, you guys have one or all of you have a movie playing there. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's very cool. I'm probably the newest, maybe initiate to the Fox Cities group here, and my buddy Tom Thorne kind of brought me into the group and the fold here, and it's great. I've been a hermit too long, so working with others is a good thing.
Good for you for getting yourself out there. We got some texts on the stream from your buddies. Dearmageddon the musical. Kurt Rock's Mental Health Film Festival. That's Kurt Krause. Kurt Krause on the Strauss, Conrad.
I like it.
Dearmageddon says Kurt Rock's Mental Health Film Festival, Sogo Film Festival. Another one from Dearmageddon says The Rise of Dearmageddon, The Last Witch in Wisconsin, and The Inheritance. Those are the films you were just talking about, Daniel, that will be at the Sogo Film Festival in 1 month. And you have been called a rock star by Dearmageddon the musical. So you got some fans out there.
That's nice.
That's awesome. Thank you for the call, buddy. And break a leg at the film festival. That's outside. That's outstanding.
Good. Hey, I'm just glad you didn't ask me about the wet mouth. So we'll save that for another time.
I didn't want to turn the show like into a sensual thing, but that was a great laugh. Daniel, about a month ago or so, said, in order to say the last name Schwaba properly, you have to wet your lip. You have to wet your lips first. And I never realized that about my own name. So you exposed me to that. Thank you for that.
Yeah, don't try and eat saltines and talk to
No, that doesn't work. Let's get you back on the show at some point. And thanks again. Break a leg at the film festival.
You bet.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
That's Daniel Wheeler. Dave on the stream also said, our question of the night, you can still get your answers in quickly, folks. Dave says Barney Miller. That was a great one, too. Great cast, too, about in New York City. The 12th Precinct in New York City. Great stuff. What is your favorite TV show theme song? And we've got a Steady Eddie text here. Steady Eddie says, he's in the 608. He says, my favorite TV theme song goes back to my childhood. It is the theme song from the Andy Griffith Show. Andy and Opie going fishing. It was a simpler, kinder, and gentler time. I learned to whistle perfectly that theme song, and in my early 20s, I placed it in the top 5 in several competitions. Though sadly, I think I sometimes fell short in the swimsuit portion of those beauty contests, such as life. Steady, Eddie. Don't be so hard on yourself. He says, steady, c'est la vie. Eddie, well done, buddy. Great to hear from you. And that's the second vote for Andy Griffith's show. Mike Strelo liked the Andy Griffith show as well for a theme song. Tyler from Wisconsin Rapids, he's in the 608. He says, correction. Oh, wait a minute. Did he text us earlier? I don't want to read his correction first. He says, Tyler says, Bendelamentary's haunting composition for Twin Peaks. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but yeah, Twin Peaks had great music, a great opening theme. And then Tyler says, correction, make that Angelo Bendelamenti. Okay. Who killed Laura Palmer? Anyway, only David Lynch knows for sure, and he is no longer with us. Great text. Thank you, Tyler. I'm not even going to attempt to read the AI text either, because it's just...
I mean, it definitely spells your name right now.
They do that. Did you correct that, though?
No, I think it heard us talking about it and got a little angry.
Because that one night it was Peach Cobbler.
And then it was like...
Waba. Pete Waba.
Pete Waba.
And now it's Peach Schwaba. So the correction.
Peach Chihuahua too? I forgot about that one.
Peach Chihuahua. I don't remember that. Steve, Conrad's dad, checks in from Florida. Still my favorite show theme song is Hawaii 5-0. Always brings back memories of great times jumping waves back in the day with my Ventus 80s. Oh, does he mean vintage, Conrad?
I'm not sure.
He's your dad. You don't speak Krieger, I would assume. He says, my Ventus, or maybe it's a motorcycle type, I don't know, 80s Kawasaki jet ski. Oh, that sounds fun. Your dad was a big Miami Vice fan, huh?
I guess so.
That was the biggest thing when I was in college. People would like make margaritas and watch Miami Vice. I just thought it was an okay show. Chris from Sun Prairie, her area code is 773, though, curveball. She says, Cheers is a great pick. When I think of theme songs, The Jeffersons is my favorite. Yeah, that's a good one, too. And the only one I know all the words to. Go ahead, Chris. Moving on up to a deluxe apartment in the sky. Nick from Marshall, he's in the 608. He says, theme song from Friends always puts me in a good mood, too. Okay. That's interesting, Nick, because I like the Friends theme song, too. I think it was performed by the Replacements. I think. Great band. Or the Rembrandts. I think it's the Rembrandts. Do we have time to play Rob's parody of the Friends song?
No.
We'll do it when we come back.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rob Paravonian was a guest on the show several months ago. He did a joke in his stand-up act about the Friends theme song. We'll play that next. And how are we doing on time? Are we caught up on texts?
We got a couple new texts rolling in, but
we got Laverne and Shirley. I got that one. Brian from Milwaukee called us. Everett from Sun Prairie, and of course the Golden Girls. We read that too. All right, we're coming back, and we're going to hear about that Friends theme song people seem to think is so popular. And then we'll close things down. Pete Schwaba, Nightlight, Civic Media Radio Network.
As Wisconsin as a fish fry on a Friday night, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
Mark your calendars for heart-pumping, exhilarating action at the 2025 Queen Marinette's Run the River Powerboat Races in Marinette, Wisconsin on June 7th and 8th. The action will be nonstop as these high-octane boats reach speeds of over 105 miles per hour. Races kick off on Saturday and Sunday at 12:30 p.m. and run throughout the day. Free for the whole family, this is the perfect summertime weekend getaway. For more information, head to fishonmarinette.com and click on the events page.
The draft is done, and our top craft pick votes are in. We narrowed it down to 10 top contenders, and after hundreds of votes, the winners have been crowned. Congratulations to Old Station 31 Spirits in Dale, the winner of the Mino and the Mayor Top Craft Pick promotion. Plus, just for voting, Rhonda Schrader walks away with $250 in gift cards from our participating sponsors. Mino and the Mayor's Top Craft Picks, drafting Wisconsin's finest one sip at a time. Reviewing the week's legal news with a friend of the court.
Well, I'm looking forward to Saturday morning. I haven't missed one. Outstanding. Just like being in school.
cool.
It has been a week in the areas of law and government and the aspiration for justice in America. As always, I am delighted. I am honored that you have chosen to spend some of your weekend time with me in discussion.
Amicus, a law review with Jim Santel. Saturday mornings from 9 to 11.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
The Todd Albaugh Show.
David Hogg, Democratic National Committee Vice Chair, says, no, we're going to spend $20 million to take out fellow Democrats who are either too old or not voting progressive enough. And Republicans are doing this as well. They don't want any compromise, zero-sum game. I spent 30 years in politics. The best politics are pragmatic. You get 75% of the loaf and you move on.
Catch the Todd Albaugh Show at its new time, weekdays 2 to 4 on Civic Media and the Civic Media app.
I was stuck in a state of panic and endless rituals. So I made the call.
Mental health care works when you make the call. Visit mentalhealthcareworks.org. A message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
You are never far away from your favorite radio station. We're always streaming on TuneIn and the Civic Media app. And if you missed your favorite show or game, listen to a podcast of it anytime on the app or our website, civicmedia.com.
Who can turn the world on with a smile? Who can take a nothing day and suddenly make it all seem worthwhile? I'll let you go.
This is the Mary Chandler Moore theme. This is Nightlight with Pete Schwaba. I am Pete Schwaba. Great to have you with me in the closing minutes here. This has been a fun show. My thanks to Mike Stralo for joining me. Mike is the longtime CBS 58 anchorman in Milwaukee who was here in the studio. We had a great time talking about our hometown of Marinette. We had Miles Kristen on for a cup of coffee. A very quick visit. Yeah. He had to get back to the register before everyone robbed him blind, but I appreciate him taking time out. And then Daniel Wheeler covered for him. And we talked about the SOGO Film Festival in Stoughton. Check it out, May 30th and 31st. SOGO, I think it's just sogo.com, but Google it. It's a great little film festival with a couple of beautiful venues as well. So, okay. Before the break, one of our texters, was it Brian? Who said that? Said they like the Friends theme song. And it is a good theme song. But you really don't ever hear more than the first verse of the Friends theme song. And our friend Rob Paravonian, who was on the show several months ago, did a joke about the Friends theme song. So we'll hear that now, and then we'll come back and finish up.
So no one told you that was gonna be this way.
It's like, Rob, we hear that song 17 times a day. Please don't play it at the comedy show. It's a good song. Actually, I want to write a theme song for a sitcom because that's where the money is. But those people weren't even satisfied with just having a theme song to a popular sitcom. They wanted it to be a hit on the radio, and it's only a 30-second song. So they had to stretch it out to 3 minutes, and when they did, they slapped on more verses and more choruses, and they weren't paying attention. And I can prove it. The second verse of that song has nothing to do with the rest of the song. The second verse goes like this. You're still in bed at 10 and work began at 8. You burned your breakfast so far, things are going great. First of all, I don't know anyone who burns their breakfast because I don't know anyone who cooks their breakfast when they're 2 hours late for work. It's like, I'm late. Where's the skillet? But I would let that slide. If it worked for the next line, it's the next line that really bugs me because it goes like this. Your mama told you there'd be days like these. Your mama told you there'd be days like these, but the first line of the song is, so no one told you life was gonna be this way.
That's great. Rob Piravoni, we got to get Rob back on the show. That was Nick from Marshall, who said he liked the Friends theme song. And I agree. It's a great opening to a show. You just never hear those other verses that are somewhat controversial. Brian in Milwaukee says the Full House theme. Nice, Brian. And also various Star Trek TV shows and Quincy. Oh, my God, Quincy. Going back to the 80s. Nice, Brian. I don't remember the Quincy theme. So those are great texts, everybody. Thank you for being part of the show tonight. We have a caller?
Yes, we do. It's Craig.
We can't leave a caller on. Oh, it's Craig. Oh, Craig Kinnett. Craig, how are you?
Hey, Pete, how are you doing?
Doing very well.
I only got like a minute to talk before you guys shut off the show.
Are you running an assembly line or something at a factory and you just popped off to make a quick call? What's happening? You're in the middle of a bus?
No, we got a lot of stuff happening, and it would be kind of fun to fill you in a little bit, but we can do that on another night.
Sure.
But that Soho Festival is really exciting, and it's interesting because all the entries are free. You don't have to pay to enter the film festival. And then as well as attendance for the audience, it's free. So,
cool.
I mean, I guess they pass a hat, but it seems like it's covered itself really well. I apologize for Miles not being able to hang around. I don't know. He had to go to work or something.
Oh, that's all right. But, I thought he was fine because we booked it, but whatever. The things happen and it's no worries at all. And I wish you guys luck. It sounds like a great little festival. I was looking at the website and it seems like just an absolute blast. So I hope you guys all have great screenings.
It's so much fun having films with your buddies in the same film festival. It helps out a lot. And a couple weeks ago, when I invited you to come down to Appleton and be a part of our movie, we just got a new one that's going to be coming out soon too. Except I couldn't afford airfare for you from your hometown all the way down to Green Bay. That's not fair.
I just need a chopper. I don't think that's too much to ask, Craig. God, you guys are unbelievable. Do I sound like a diva?
And a final little thing, a little teaser here for you, Pete, is that JB, Dan Davies, and I went up to see Bill Rebane this last weekend, and where there is an announcement coming sometime soon.
I think I might have seen something in regard to that announcement, but yeah, save it for the air. We'll have one of you guys in here and you can talk about it because that sounds exciting.
But keep it up, Pete. We love what you're doing.
I love what you guys are doing, and thank you for the call, buddy. And no worries, Miles was great, and Dan, you guys had him covered. So it was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have great screenings.
I'm sure we will.
Okay, buddy.
All right. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah, you too, Craig. Thanks for calling. All right, that's Craig Kinnett, and there's another endorsement for the Sogo Film Festival. It does look really cool, and I love when they use I love small town opera houses because there's so few of them. So the towns that actually have them and restore them and keep them up, man, tip of my hat because that is fantastic. Brian from Green Bay also says MASH theme with lyrics. Google the lyrics, folks, because the lyrics are something like suicide is painless. It brings on many changes. The lyrics are pretty dark, but it is a great song. And I'm with you, Brian. That's one of the better ones. Steady Eddie. Again. Nice. 2 texts in one night. Conrad, what do you make of that?
It's a beautiful night with
Guy's
Steady
a
text
workhorse.
twice, you know?
Yeah. Pete, I like the theme song from The Big Bang Theory much more than the show. Wow. And then he just signs it Steady. Because we're on first name basis now, I think, Steady Eddie. Awesome. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We'll be back tomorrow night to do it all over again. My buddy Mike Schmidt will be on tomorrow night. Can't wait to have Mike on. He's a podcaster and a very funny comedian. He will be on. And then who else do we have on, Conrad, in the second hour? Oh, Mike Radu, owner of the Chilton Movie Theater. Oh, speaking of old, cool theaters, we're going to talk to Mike, too. That's in the second hour. Great show tomorrow night, too. Hope to see you back then. On behalf of the lovable producer Conrad, fresh off vacation, this is Pete Schwaba saying good night, Wisconsin.
Everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see the troubles are all the same.